Are your Google Ads campaigns doing so well that you've run out of ideas on how to make them perform even better? It's a great problem to have. I'm going to give you a lot of great ideas on how you can take your campaigns that are doing amazing and get even more out of them in this video. But before I do that, my name is Chelsea So. I've been running Google Ads campaigns for almost 20 years. And I love helping clients to grow and expand their revenue and their business because of Google Ads. It's a super powerful tool, and there's a lot you can accomplish with it. Now, if everything's running on all cylinders and you just have no other ideas on how to get it even to the next level, there's going to be some ideas in this video that are going to help you out. Now, if I'm looking at your campaigns and I'm trying to find out where are there opportunities to get this great performing account even better, I'm going to start looking at really nitty-gritty areas such as Performance Max campaign placements, finding out exactly where your ads are showing. Now, it's not going to give you all the data that you're going to need, but Performance Max campaign placements is going to help show you where your ads are showing up, and it's going to give you some ideas for exclusions. So I'm going to start looking at, okay, where are we spending money that we really shouldn't be spending because it's easy to do on Google Ads. Now you can do that with your Performance Max campaigns with the campaigns placements report. There's also the where your ads showed report. This is going to be useful for your display, video, demand gen campaigns. And so take a look at where your ads showed, and you're going to see the YouTube channels and websites or app placements that you're showing that probably aren't relevant to your ideal customer, or you're spending too much money on potentially spam or other areas where you shouldn't be spending. There's also a YouTube keywords report, and I'll see all kinds of crazy stuff in there, from different languages to just wild stuff. Google's not targeting people based on necessarily on their searches, but you can identify some areas where you're like, hey, I do not want to show for that kind of stuff for my brand. So that's a great report to look at to find additional exclusions so that you can help shift ad spend away from those areas where you don't want to be, so that you can have more spend available for the areas that are working well that you do want to be. Similar to that, you should definitely be looking at your search terms report, and you're going to find lots of hidden treasures of things that are working well and hidden things where things aren't working well. And so that's a really great report to take an eye at. There's tools that can help you do n-gram analysis. And so you might not know that there's a certain term that keeps showing up that's not actually converting really well for you. And you can't do that unless you do an n-gram analysis. And so we have a custom script that does that. We also have tools that do that we like to use, but it's a super beneficial way to aggregate what people are searching for, to identify good opportunities to bid more on, and then bad opportunities where we should be excluding. So do some n-gram analysis on your search terms report, and that's a frequent thing that you should be doing in your campaign. The next area where I would dig into further are learning from your best performing ad assets. And now you can run reports on your best performing assets across all ads, or you can do this on an individual level, but you're going to want to dig into your responsive ads and look at the best performing headlines, descriptions, and then not just increase your search impression share for those, but actually try to understand why those perform well. And how I do it is I'll look at what's best performing and then also what's worst performing. And so if I can identify the state of mind the person's in, or maybe the hot buttons that are resonating with people, then I could push into that further. So I'm going to want to extract learnings from my best performing ad assets, not just, regurgitating what's working well. Let's actually try to learn from what's working and test and improve upon what we have in terms of performance. Now, the next area to look at that's going to have a big impact on your campaigns is upgrading your conversion tracking. So if you're not using enhanced conversions, that's definitely a step you want to go. If you're not using offline conversion tracking, if it applies to you, that's definitely something you need to do. And that's just going to improve your performance data overall. So you're going to be telling Google exactly who to target based on your actual sales for your company versus some other metrics like lead gen opportunities or lead magnet submissions or email subscriptions or whatever you might be tracking. And so if you're using offline tracking, if you have revenue tracking, actual revenue, That's going to be the best thing that you can feed back into Google. And also server-side containers. That's going to help improve your tracking accuracy as well. But it's definitely worth auditing your conversion tracking to make sure that you have that in a really great place and that you're feeding the best quality data to Google that you can, and that it's optimized on a campaign level. And so take a look at, what conversion actions are set to primary, what conversion actions are set to secondary. If you have multiple conversion actions set as primary, then that might be something you want to look at if that's what you're optimizing for on a campaign level. My recommendation, and Google's recommendation as well, is have one step in your funnel as your conversion action for your campaign. So there might be multiple actions for that level, but ideally, if you can pass back sales data and revenue data into Google Ads and do that in a way that's very accurate, so you're capturing as much data as you can, then you're going to be in a really good place, and that's what you want to aim for in your campaigns. Now, the next thing I'm going to look at, if everything's running super smooth in your campaigns, everything's performing really well, you've tested a couple things that haven't worked out, and you're not sure where to look to next, my recommendation would be to look to new campaign types. So if you haven't expanded into demand gen or video campaigns, that's where you need to be. That's the way that you're going to grow and expose yourself to new audiences and new top of funnel traffic sources. And so you want to definitely be exploring and testing and experimenting, because it's one thing to try a new campaign type, it's another thing to get it to work. And so my recommendation would be to step into new campaign types and get them to work. That's going to help you to scale overall and have super success in your campaigns. It's what we do every day in my agency to help grow clients year over year, to make sure that they're continually growing every year that they stay with us. And so I hope those were helpful for you. If you're interested in applying for a free audit with me, you can do that by clicking the link in the description below. There's also this video that shows you exactly how I go through and I audit campaigns when I look at them, and there's going to be some tips in there that you can use for your own campaigns. So I invite you to check that out. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope to see you on the next video.